Hey everybody, this is D Hunter, bringing another action figure review. Today, we're going to look at the McFarlane DC Multiverse Batman Beyond vs. Justice Lord Superman 2-pack. I pre-ordered this thing for the McFarlane toy store, and it finally arrived today. It looks like we have Batman Beyond from the comics versus an evil version of Superman. Looks like we use the infected body once again, so let's take a look. As you can see, ages 12 plus, DC Multiverse, Batman Beyond versus Justice Lord Superman. Here they are in the package. Looks like 4 hands for Superman, 4 hands for Batman, a couple batarangs, really cool display base, then collector's card for each of them. And I don't see a traditional stand, but we'll see when we open it. One side of the package, Batman Beyond versus Justice Lord Superman from Batman Beyond 2.0. Other side, Batman Beyond versus Superman. At the bottom, a bunch of credits, and there's the barcode if that helps anybody. And to the back side, Batman Beyond, Superman. So with no further ado, let's open it up. And I did end up getting 2 of these sets, one of which to open and enjoy, and the other one to keep unopened in my complete, unopened Batman-related action figure collection. Alright, now that this figure's out of the package, here they are with all their accessories laid out. They come with a big display base, 2 individual display stands, 2 collector's cards, a sort of card art you can attach to the display base, 2 batarangs, and then 4 hands for each figure. In this video, we're going to take a look at each of the figures individually, we'll check out their accessories, height, and articulation, and we'll compare them with a bunch of other relevant action figures. So, let's start off with my favorite of the two, Terry McGinnis Batman from Batman Beyond. Now before we look at Batman, let's check out their shared accessories. They both come with this regular display stand. We've seen it a million times before. It's a black circle, very thin, very basic, but it gets the job done. And here are their collector's cards, one for Batman and one for Superman. And here's the back side of those collector's cards. Each one has a description. If you want to read Batman's, go ahead and pause now. And if you want to read Superman's, go ahead and pause now. Now let's check out the display base and card art. I love when these 2-packs come with these display bases. They can be really cool. I believe this is supposed to be set in the Batcave. You can see the sort of stones or stalagmites. It's got some metal grating on the floor. Some is in ruin from the fighting. It's got a couple of peg holes for the pegs on their feet. Then with this card art here, it's an image of the Batman Beyond Batman and the Justice Lord Superman. You can insert this thing right into the back of your display stand, giving you a cool little display setup. Here's a look at these 2 figures, utilizing the display base. Now let's take a look at Batman. This is Terry McGinnis from Batman Beyond. He's in a little bit different suit than normal, green and black, and it has these large wings. He comes with 2 alternate hands, totally 4 interchangeable hands, and 2 batarangs. So let's take a look. Starting with his face here, he has a sort of digitized look, those lines all over him, signature style to Batman Beyond. The wings look good. They're smooth, but the sculpting is nice. It has these, I don't know, they almost like little bombs in the corners here. You can see they're connected here. They're going to be able to rotate. They're one solid piece. Still look pretty cool. Wings, just like a bat. He's the very slim, sleek body. Green bat symbol. Double jointed elbows. Double jointed knees. It does look to be a lot of reuse from the previous Batman Beyond figures, with of course brand new wings, and a closer look at his face and head sculpt. Slight correction on the wings. They do look to be 2 separate pieces, and they do move independently of one another. And here's the figure broken down as far as he can go, with all of his removable parts detached. Now the wings are not easily removable, but I imagine with some hot water I can take them off. We'll check that out a little later in this video. Now let's check out his accessories, and let's start off with his hands. He has a total of 4 hands, 2 left hands, and 2 right hands. Here he is, with his first pair of hands. This is a pair of gripping hands with trigger fingers, which is interesting because I don't think a single Batman Beyond figure has come with anything to justify trigger fingers. Not even a grapnel launcher. And here's his alternate pair of hands. These are sort of his claw hands. In the TV show, he could sort of pull out some claws, climb walls, etc. with them. I imagine they're also pretty good for fighting. Now for his batarangs. He has 2 of them, and these are not the signature Batman Beyond batarangs. These are black batarangs, and they have sort of a little fork prong at the bottom. They look cool. Happy to add a little more variety to the bat armory. Here's Batman holding and getting ready to throw his batarang. Now I wanted to see how easy it is to pull these wings off. I'm going to take the figure, dip into some boiling water, and I imagine they'll come right off. So I dipped him into some hot water, took the wings off, and there you go. You can have the figure with no wings on. Of course, if you do that, he's got this giant ugly hole in his back, but it looks pretty good from the front. If you want to put the wings back on, you're going to have to take the wings here, get this part hot, and leave his hole in his back cool down. That way it stays hard, and you can shove them in there, and they'll cool off and work just fine. Kind of cool, have the separated wings here. Now I wanted to check out the differences between this new Justice Lords Batman Beyond and the original release. So, looking at their heads, I do think it's a brand new head sculpt. This guy almost looks like he's smiling. He's got the mouth open. I was just wondering if they painted over this guy, but they didn't. The mouths look very different. In fact, the ears look a bit thinner and longer on this guy. It looks like the body itself is the same. Diaper piece the same. Belt's not painted on this guy. The arms are the same. You can definitely tell because he has that little hook for the wings. The wings he doesn't even come with. And the legs are the same, but I do believe it to be a new head sculpt. Now that I've taken a pretty good look at both the figure and its accessories, now let's check out his height. From bottom to the top of his head, about 6.9 inches tall. And if you go to the top of the ears, about 7.25 inches tall. Now for his articulation. Starting with his head, of course, it can rotate from side to side. You can look up and down, pretty good amount. Tilt his head from one side to the other. Shoulders, ball joint, goes out more than 90 degrees. Up, down, around, all that good stuff. He's got a butterfly joint between shoulder and chest, increasing the range of motion and covering that large gap that would be there. Bicep cut, double jointed elbows. His wrist can rotate, and it's going to be hinged as well. Torso, ball joint, rotate around, forward and back. Same thing in the waist, although my waist is very tight between the two. Good range of motion. Legs complete as a splits. McFarlane style hip joint. Rotation is minimal. Forward that much, back not at all. Double jointed knees, and his ankles forward and back. Rotate, tilt, rock, to articulation. It's ugly ball joints. Now let's check him out next to some other Batman Beyond figures. Here he is next to the single release of the Batman Beyond Terry McGinnis Batman. This is my favorite, and I'd say the best one. This is one that has the mouth sculpted onto the face and the head. And here he is next to the Target exclusive collective build with the Batman Joker robot. This version here is the same body, but the head has no mouth. It's accurate to the Batman Beyond comics from that specific story, Future's End. Then, next to the blue version of Batman Beyond, this is actually not Terry McGinnis, this is Ink, a shape-shifting villain posing as Batman Beyond. And now we have the digitized version of Batman Beyond. This seemed to be sort of a randomly selected chase figure, but not a platinum. And now, next to the Entertainment Earth exclusive, glow-in-the-dark, digitized Batman Beyond. Here are all the different McFarlane Batman Beyond figures they've made so far. Plenty of variations. I'm surprised they haven't done a gold label unmasked version. I would love to see a transparent, maybe cloaked version. There's a lot of options for the future still. And I wouldn't mind seeing another Batman Beyond version on a little bit of a bigger body as an old man Bruce Wayne. Here he is, next to my Mattel Batman Beyond figures. Then, next to the Mezco Batman Beyond figure. And now, with some DC Direct Batman Beyond figures. And here are all of my 6 and 7 inch scale Batman Beyond figures. Quite the collection at this point. Here he is, next to both versions of McFarlane's Batwoman Beyond. And here, next to a custom Terry McGinnis in civilian attire, and Max Gibson. She was kind of like his Oracle in the show. And here's Batman, next to a DC Direct Old Man Bruce Wayne and Ace the Bat-Hound. Here's this Batman, next to all the McFarlane DC Multiverse Batman Beyond villains they've made. Shriek, the Joker Mountain Robot, and Blight. There are so many more, and they're all visually very interesting. McFarlane could do some really cool Batman Beyond villains. And here, next to some custom Batman Beyond villains that I have from way back when. Kirari, Spellbinder, and Shriek. And here, next to the Hasbro Batman Beyond Batmobile. So now let's take a look at Superman. This is sort of Superman Beyond, the Justice Lord version of Superman. In an alternate reality, the Justice Lords decided to enforce law through any means necessary and sort of became some totalitarian dictatorship, became sort of an evil ruler of the world. So let's take a look. Superman here, he's a little bit older. He's got some gray on the sides of his hair. Eyes have red around them, kind of looks evil. He's big, he's buff, he's stern. It's on the infected body yet again, but it's very appropriate for this Superman. He has that cape that Eradicator has. Now, he has this sort of black line where things have been cut out around his neck area, and it looks awful. Just look at that, very noticeable. The Superman logo looks pretty cool. Like I said, that infected body we've seen so many times before. Double jointed elbows, big, strong, oversized fists, double jointed knees. The cape from Eradicator, that's that sort of annoying pose on his right side. Still, it's pretty cool to have this older, evil version of Superman. And a closer look at his face and head sculpt. And here's the figure broken down as far as he can go, with all of his removable parts detached. Now let's check out his hands. He has a total of 4 of them, 2 left hands and 2 right hands. Here he is with his first pair of hands. These are some open hands. They look pretty weird. I believe these are some choking, throwing, or grabbing hands. And here he is with his second pair of hands. These are his fists. Now both pairs of hands are far too large for the figure. Now I want to check out the reuse between this Justice Lord Superman and the Eradicator. And it's quite a bit of reuse. Now Eradicator here uses the infected Superman buck. It's called the infected Superman buck because it was first introduced on the infected Superman and has been used well over 20 times, I'd say, at this point. So, obviously their heads are totally different. Going further down, the Superman logo looks to be the same. The torso, stomach, and top, exactly the same. The diaper is different. The legs are the same. Oh, look at that. You can see the sculpted sort of line there. They just simply painted over it like usual. They're doing more and more of that lately. Lazy, they can't just smooth that stuff out. It seems like it'd be so easy. And then, of course, that signature cape, which I find kind of annoying on this guy. So, exact same figure, except for the diaper and the head. Now that we've taken a pretty good look at both the figure and his accessories, now let's check out his height. From bottom to the top of his head, standing at about 7.1 inches tall, which can translate to 18 centimeters. Now for his articulation. Starting with his head, of course, it can rotate from side to side. He can look up a little bit, down a little bit more. Can tilt his head from one side to the other. Shoulders, on a ball joint, goes out a little bit more than 90 degrees. Up, down, around, all that good stuff. He's got that butterfly joint between his shoulder and chest, increase the range of motion, and cover a large gap that would be there. Bicep cut below that. Double jointed elbows, they go all the way in. His wrist, we're going to rotate, and it's going to be hinged as well. In his torso, he's got a ball joint, rotate around, forward and back. In his waist, another ball joint, rotate around, forward and back. Between the two, pretty good range of motion in his torso area. Legs, complete does the splits. Not a ball joint, McFarlane style hip joints. Rotation is non-existent. Go forward all the way. Back not much. Double jointed knees below that. And then his ankle. Forward and back. Rotate. Tilt rock. And of course, to articulation. Now let's check him out. Next to some other evil Superman figures. Here he is, next to the infected Superman. The infected Superman is the first one to use the same body that this Justice Lord Superman uses. And it's been used so many times. The infected Superman is Superman infected by the Batman Who Laughs. And here he is, next to the Red Sun Superman. Red Sun Superman is not exactly evil. It all depends on your point of view. This is Superman. What if he fell into the Russian instead of the US area? He works for the communist government, but from his point of view, he's the good guy. Then, next to the Batman, the Dark Knight Returns Superman. Not exactly evil, but it became a pawn of the government. Batman had to take him down. He even cut off Green Arrow's arm. And now, next to the angry Hush Superman. This is from Hush when Poison Ivy was controlling Superman. Here he is, next to the Black Lantern. Blackest Night Superman. This is a deceased, reanimated Superman. Here he is, next to Bizarro, an evil, opposite version of Superman. Then, next to the Eradicator. This version is a clone of Superman, and he works for General Zod. Here are all the different figures, Superman, and Eradicator, and Bizarro, that use the infected Superman body. I count a total of 16 of them. My god. Reuse, as bad as Marvel Legends. Here's a look at all the McFarlane DC Multiverse Superman figures that I have. There are a total of 32 so far. Next couple I can think of that are coming out. It's going to be the Superman vs. Cyborg 2-pack. And then there's some sort of classic Superman McFarlane has revealed recently. Here's a look at Batman taking on Superman in the Batcave. I think Terry McGinnis may be in over his head. Of course, Superman quickly gets the upper hand. Just tears those wings right off of Batman. It takes the old man Bruce Wayne to regain the upper hand. He pulls some kryptonite out of the Bat Vault. Now let's check them out. Next is some Batman and Superman figures from different various companies. Starting off with the larger ones I collect, working their way smaller. Here they are. Next is some other McFarlane DC Multiverse Batman and Superman figures. And here they are. Next is some DC Direct and DC Collectibles Batman and Superman figures. Then, next is some NECA Batman and Superman figures. And now, next is some Mezco 112 Collective Batman and Superman figures. And here they are. Next is some Mattel DC Universe Classics and Multiverse Batman and Superman action figures. And finally, here they are. Next is some Mafex Batman and Superman figures. So overall, this is a pretty nice action figure 2-pack. The Batman figure, it's nice, but it's just too much of the same. It's the exact same Batman Beyond figure they've already released numerous times. The wings are a nice touch, but kind of weird. And then Superman, I actually think the infected body is perfect for a Justice League Superman. A little bit bigger, bulkier, meaner. The gray hair looks good. The red around the eyes looks good. Even the giant fists, I'm okay with. I just absolutely hate his neck. That little black cutout looks like shit. If I were to rate this set, their accessories are pretty nice. Sculpted paint job, it's good. Articulation is everything you'd expect from a modern McFarlane DC Multiverse figure. If I were to rate these guys, I'd probably give them about a 7 out of 10. It's a nice set, but definitely prefer the traditional looking of Batman Beyond, and the Justice Lords has some serious issues around the neck, and I'm not a fan of that cape. So this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you liked the video, press like below. If you have anything you want to say about the video, add it to the comment section. If you want to see additional action figure reviews from me, press subscribe. I do appreciate when you do that. Once again, this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video, and I will talk to you guys real soon.